Is Earth Day, an annual global celebration of our home planet. And as we celebrate Earth Day, we're raising awareness about the importance of protecting the fragile planet. So joining us for a deep dive this morning is a special guest. We're going to talk about Earth's stunning oceans.
Yeah, joining us now is expert Dr. Leslie E. Ott to help us celebrate Earth Day and give us the inside scoop on what NASA is learning about our home planet. All right, Doctor, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so this Earth Day, NASA is focused on the oceans. We know NASA's PACE satellite is looking at the color of the oceans around the globe. What exactly is ocean color, and what does it tell us about ocean health?
Yeah, it's a really good question, right? If you're on a plane and you look down, the oceans look blue, maybe a little bit of a shade of green, right? But what satellites allow us to do is see a lot more color, a lot more detail than we can see with the human eye. And so with the previous generation of satellites, what ocean color meant was just looking at the amount of green, the amount of tiny plants called phytoplankton in the oceans, which could tell us about how much biological activity there was there. That's really important in understanding food for fish and lots of things that we rely on as humans across the world. What PACE is doing, what's really game-changing about PACE, is that it has so much more detail, many more shades of green that we can see with this kind of sensor. That's allowing us to see not just how much phytoplankton there is, but actually what species, what kinds of phytoplankton there are, so that we can understand how those different communities are changing in response to climate change. This is incredibly exciting, totally new information for us at NASA.
Wow.
It's interesting. So PACE looking at the detailed colors of the ocean, but then I understand it's also looking for very tiny particles in our atmosphere. Maybe it's smoke from wildfires, things like that. Why would we look at those tiny particles in the air?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So one of the things that is fascinating is to make a measurement as detailed as PACE in the ocean, we actually need to understand those tiny particles in the atmosphere because they scatter light, they can affect the measurement quality. But we're smart enough that we can do two things at once, right? We can use the aerosol data to make sure that we improve and understand the measurements in the ocean. So there's a technical reason we measure them together. But for us, as aerosol scientists, as meteorologists, those aerosols are incredibly important, and PACE is also seeing them in a new way, not just the total amount of pollution, but actually giving additional information about the size and even elevation of the aerosols. That's incredibly important for us to understand how far pollution can travel and how harmful it is to human health.
Doctor, we know that 2023 was the year of extreme weather. In our area, it was extreme temperatures on record. So can you tell us how this fits into the longer term trends that you're also seeing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. In Texas, you all have had an incredible year of extreme events. 2023 globally was the warmest year on record by a mile. It was an incredibly warm year, and this caps off a recent trend. The past 10 years have been the warmest 10 years on record for the planet. And as you mentioned, unfortunately, communities around the world are seeing these kinds of extremes very acutely in their communities. So in Texas, you mentioned the extreme heat, deadly heat, even extreme winter storms, which can be associated with changes in the jet stream, changes in moisture content in the atmosphere, and of course wildfires that have happened in 2024 in different parts of Texas, right? And so unfortunately, we know these kinds of events are happening now as a result of climate change. We expect some of that to continue in the future, but what we're really trying to do is work with all of these satellite data, all of these tools to help communities like yours navigate these kinds of changes.
And Doctor, before you go, where can our viewers learn more about Earth Day and some of the NASA Earth Day activities, and maybe they want to even read up on PACE?
Yeah, so check us out on the web, nasa.gov/Earth, or on social media at NASA Earth. And one great thing we're encouraging people to do, there's a great program called NASA Globe. You can participate in citizen science, even go outside, snap some pictures that help us understand and interpret what our satellites are seeing.
It's so important to keep the education going. All right, Dr. Leslie Ott, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
Yeah, happy Earth Day.